Today on Public Eye News, Donald Trump is visiting the battleground states of Michigan and Wisconsin, and later the first vessel has successfully completed the detour around the Baltimore Bridge collapse wreckage.
Bianca Kroll will have your weather forecast for the next couple days, and Reed Hall has today's sports update. I'm Kenzie Harrod.
And I'm Austin Graham, and this is Public Eye News. Former President Donald Trump is expected to talk about President Joe Biden's handling of the U.S.-Mexico border during his visits to Michigan and Wisconsin. Trump will make a trip to Grand Rapids to deliver a speech about what he is calling Biden's border bloodbath. He's also set to hold a rally in Green Bay on the day the state will hold its presidential primaries. Polls have suggested that Trump has a slight advantage over Biden due to immigration issues, as voters are concerned about illegal border crossings. Trump is expected to discuss the murder of Ruby Garcia, a Michigan woman who was killed by Brandon Ortiz Vite, a Mexican citizen. Authorities say that Ortiz Vite had been previously deported from the U.S. after a DUI arrest. Trump's speech will be held in a county that he won in the 2016 election and lost to Biden in the 2020 election. And voters in Wisconsin are deciding whether or not they want to ban the use of private money to run elections. Voters are deciding on the issue after the state received grants in 2020 to run elections that were funded by Facebook creator Mark Zuckerberg. The proposed constitutional amendment is being backed by Republican lawmakers that have complained about the amount of money that went to Democratic strongholds. The complaint came after false claims were made by Donald Trump and his supporters about President Biden stealing the 2020 election. Multiple courts and the Wisconsin Elections Commission rejected the complaints over the grant money. If the amendment passes, the use of private money to fund elections in the state would be banned. Since 2020, Republicans in more than 20 states have either banned or restricted private elections grants.
Yesterday in Lansing, Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed the Michigan Family Protection Act, which includes a groundbreaking set of bills aimed at simplifying family planning and ensuring equality under the law. This legislation repeals Michigan's ban on surrogacy contracts, making the state the first in the nation to decriminalize surrogacy. Governor Gretchen Whitmer emphasized that family planning decisions should be left to families and their health care providers. The act, comprised of 9 bills, legalizes and regulates surrogacy, ensuring equal treatment for children born through assisted reproductive technology, and eliminates barriers for the LGBTQ+ families. Representative Samantha Steckloff, the lead sponsor, described this as a milestone, particularly for couples relying on IVF and surrogacy to start and grow their families. Michigan's proactive stance in protecting reproductive rights sets an example amidst nationwide threats. And in response to a recent appeals court ruling weakening the Voting Rights Act, several states are moving to shore up protections. Democratic-led states like Minnesota, Michigan, Maryland, New Jersey, and Florida are enacting state-level measures, while Republicans argue for safeguards on election integrity. These actions follow a court decision limiting suits under the Federal Voting Rights Act, prompting concerns about minority voting rights. As debates continue, states are navigating how to best uphold democracy while addressing these voting concerns. And the spring turkey hunting season will begin shortly in Minnesota. The outdoor sport gained much interest during the pandemic. Reporter John Lauritsen has more on a change which may attract younger hunters.
And it was a bad year for it. I mean, it wasn't just us. Yeah, it hurt us, but I think industry-wide it was down tremendously.
Sam Oftedal is talking about a lack of winter. Without consistent cold, sales for ice fishing equipment were way down at Capra Sporting Goods.
It was slow. You know, when there's no ice conditions, you know, that is safe to go out, it plummets.
But there is one benefit to having a mild Minnesota winter. Pheasant, grouse, and even turkey numbers should be up this year. Turkeys are where Oftedal hopes to capitalize.
You can see in the cities, they're in your backyard now. The population and the people hunting them is growing as well.
Each spring, hunters use turkey calls, along with their choice of firearm or bow. And this season, they'll also be allowed to use a crossbow for the first time, something Oftedal thinks will attract younger hunters.
If they miss, it's not a loud bang, you know, so there's a lot of benefits to the crossbow hunting for turkey.
I think my older one is already talking about it.
Turkey hunter Fred Ardoff says a crossbow is something his boys will consider when they head to their blind this April.
My boys have just loved it for years. And I think Blake shot his first turkey at 7. Zachary shot his first one at 6.
While Oftedal knows some hunting traditionalists won't use a crossbow, they've already been a popular sell. As of now, Capra's is out of stock.
To me, it gets people into hunting, whether it's deer, whether it's turkey. We want people to get into hunting.
In Blaine, John Lordson, WCCO News.
And right after this break, Bianca Kroll will be back with your weather report. Stay tuned.
Whoa, whoa.
On Finding Your Roots, Michael Douglas
Never heard of it. It was a closed world.
and Lena Dunham.
My 8th great-grandfather was the mayor?
An ancestor eludes the law,
Your great-uncle Michael was a wanted man. Do we know what he is wanted for?
and a heartwarming discovery.
Do a lot of people cry when this happens?
Every once in a while.
Okay.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday night at 8.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Bianca Kroll, and here's our weather forecast for today. Looking at the roof cam at school here, it's a little cloudy, but soon that will change with our new blizzard warning. And looking across the UP here, starting off in Houghton, it is 40 degrees and cloudy. Ironwood, 35 and some snow showers. Iron Mountain, 40 and some rain showers. And Menominee, 35 and some more rain showers. And looking at the side of the UP over here, in Escanaba, it is 45 and rain showers. Manistee, 44 and partly cloudy. And Sault Ste. Marie, 50 and sunny. And in Marquette here, it's 38 and cloudy. And looking even further, the winds are northeast 20 miles per hour with the barometric pressure of 29.82 inches and falling. And looking at tonight's conditions, we're going to get a mix of rain and snow with a low of 32 and the winds north-northeast 31 miles per hour. And looking at tomorrow's forecast, going to be snowy with a high of 35 and a low of 33, the winds north-northeast 32 miles per hour. And looking ahead here, Friday is going to be a high of 37, mostly cloudy with a low of 31. Saturday, a high of 40, mostly sunny, and a low of 28. And Sunday, a high of 44, mostly sunny, and a low of 34. That was all I have for your weather forecast. Now back to the desk.
Well, thank you, Bianca, for that weather update. Moving into our national news now. In Baltimore, Maryland, a tugboat pushing a barge became the first vessel to use an alternate route to navigate around the wreckage of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. The barge's destination is set for the Air Force Base in Dover, Delaware, where it will deliver a jet fuel to the Department of Defense. Officials have said that the alternative channel is open to vessels that are helping with the wreckage cleanup effort. They've also said that they're working on opening a second route on the southwest side of the main channel, but haven't said when it will be available. Lawmakers in Maryland are working quickly to pass a bill that would authorize the use of the state's rainy day fund to help Port of Baltimore employees who are out of a job. The bill would also allow Governor Wes Moore to use state reserves to help small businesses avoid laying off employees. And drivers crept their way along a stretch of California Highway 1 after a portion of the road collapsed into the ocean following heavy rains. More than 1,000 people in the community of Big Sur became stranded after the highway plunged into the ocean. The collapse happened by the Rocky Creek Bridge, with traffic backed up for miles going both ways. Escorted convoys of vehicles on a single lane of the highway have been taking place since the road's collapse, with observers keeping an eye on the road's condition to ensure that travel is still safe. Highway 1 has seen multiple closures in the past due to collapses and mudslides during severe weather. A spokesman for the California Department of Transportation said that crews will start setting up concrete barricades to provide safe lanes for travelers and to protect construction workers. And one American is among the 7 workers killed in an Israeli strike. They had been delivering food with the World Central Kitchen, a charity started by celebrity chef Jose Andres. Israel says it's conducting an investigation. Natalie Brandt has more.
The humanitarian workers were killed hours after bringing a new shipment of food into northern Gaza, one of their vehicles appearing to take a direct hit. The World Central Kitchen has now suspended its aid work in the war-torn region. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it a tragic case of Israeli forces unintentionally hitting innocent people, saying this happens during war.
Hey, this is Zomi and Chef Olivier. We're at the Deir Balach kitchen.
One of the victims has been identified as Australian Zomi Francombe. Australia's Prime Minister is demanding accountability.
This is a human tragedy that should never have occurred. That is completely unacceptable.
Chef Jose Andres, who founded World Central Kitchen, posted on social media that he's heartbroken, saying the Israeli government needs to stop this indiscriminate killing and stop using food as a weapon. World Central Kitchen said it had coordinated its movements with the Israeli military. His charity had built a makeshift pier, shipping hundreds of tons of food into the Gaza Strip as the UN warns of famine in the region.
They have been doing extraordinary, brave work.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed the strike while traveling in France.
They show the best of what humanity has to offer when the going really gets tough. They have to be protected.
Prime Minister Netanyahu says he's in contact with the governments of the killed workers and will do everything to ensure this does not happen again. Natalie Brand, CBS News.
And stay tuned, we'll be right back after this short break.
The story of Caesar, most extraordinary political story in Western history.
Julius Caesar is the most dangerous kind of demagogue.
He's immoral, he's irreligious, he wants to rule Rome.
Step by step, Caesar is being corrupted by this power he's got. Democracy has to be fought for. And if we take it for granted, a new Caesar will come.
Welcome back. I'm Reed Hall here with your sports update. Starting things off on the ice, where the Red Wings have once again kept their playoff hopes alive after beating the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-2 last night. Kane opened the scoring 37 seconds into the second period, but the backhander to lead 1-0. The Lightning responded with a shorthanded goal before Robbie Fabry put the Wings back in front. Tampa was quick to respond, however, scoring on a power play a few minutes later, knotting things up at 2 apiece. That's all Tampa could muster offensively as David Perron broke the tie before Lucas Raymond hit an empty netter to seal the deal for the Wings. The Red Wings completed the sweep of the Lightning with the win, and Lyon earned his first win in net since February 27th. Detroit moved to 37-30-8, good for 82 points, and are now once again tied with the Capitals for the last wildcard spot, but have played 2 more games than the Caps. And pitching things over to baseball, where the Detroit Tigers' quest for 162-0 lives another day. The Tigers traveled to the Big Apple yesterday to play the New York Mets in the first of a 3-game series. It took an extra inning to decide this one, in which the Tigers won 5-0, thanks in part to a Carson Kelly 3-run jack. Before the 10th, that starts with the runner on second, both teams combined for just 2 runners in scoring position. The Tigers had a chance to break the tie in the top of the 6th after Andy Ibanez hit a single to left, but left fielder Brandon Nimmo gunned down Carson Kelly at the plate. Things stalled for the remainder of the game with the help of 5 strikeouts from the Tigers' bullpen. In the 10th, a fielding error on Mets' Joey Wendell helped score Torkelson to break the tie. Baez hit a sac fly to make it 2-0 before Carson Kelly hit a 393-foot home run to put the game away. The Tigers moved to 4-0 for the first time since 2015, while the Mets dropped to 0-4 for the first time since 2005. And bouncing things over to basketball, where the women's Final Four has been set. After a highly anticipated night for the sport, it was Caitlin Clark and Iowa walking away as the biggest winners, beating Angel Reese and LSU in a rematch from last year's final. Paige Beckers and the UConn Huskies will face Clark after winning their Elite 8 matchup against USC. On the other side of the bracket, NC State, after starting the season unranked, upset 1-seed Texas and will take on a rather underrated and undefeated South Carolina team. South Carolina has flown under the radar in the media throughout the tournament because the Gamecocks lack a single superstar like the remaining other teams. The Final Four will tip off Friday with NC State and South Carolina at 7 and Iowa and UConn at 9:30. That's all the sports I have for the day. Back to the news desk.
Well, thank you, Reed, for that sports update. Kenzie, have you been able to look at the Marquette parking ban that has been lifted for the winter season?
Yeah, it just got posted yesterday. It's not an April Fool's Day prank. We are finally able to park overnight on the street. The winter parking ban is gone.
And that's all the time we have on Public Eye News today. I'm Austin Graham.
I'm Kenzie Harrod.
Thanks for tuning in.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.
Thanks for watching Public Eye News. You can subscribe to our YouTube, tune in to WNMU Channel 13 every weekday at 4, or follow our Instagram at NMU Penn to never miss a story.